Movie heritage.
Oh, that's groovy,
By
y'all.
Riverside.
Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. On the back hash.
Not the front hash.
At the front. You know, so,
Don't even
story
say
time. No, story time. So, my students have figured out that I'm on a podcast.
Mine too.
So we were sitting in class, and I was covering for the high school meeting right there, and some of the kids were talking about it. It's like, and there was a kid that don't know anything about anything, literally. And he was like, "Wait a minute, you're on a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What's the name of it? What's the name of it?" It was like, "On the back hash." He was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "You know what a football field?"
Oh, boy.
No.
I was like, "You know what a football field is?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know what a football field. Yeah." And I said, "You know the lines between the yard lines?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Those are called hash marks." Huh? I'm like, "Yeah."
Hash browns.
So it's like on the back hash, like somewhere that you go. Is that like saying you're getting stuff done? I was like, "No, it's literally the back hash."
I wish it was slang for getting stuff done.
It'll
we
be
on the
cool.
back hash
We're on
right
the back
now.
hash of this right now.
Right
Getting
now.
stuff done.
Right
Maybe
now.
we should start that. Maybe that's the thing that we should start. But I was
Getting
the
stuff
whole
done.
class was looking at this kid. He's not a band kid at all. But everybody in the class was just looking at him like, "Are you? Something's wrong with you."
Don't you
Literally.
love when you have not band kids in band?
Well, he wasn't in band. This was a music appreciation class.
Yo,
Oh,
also,
well,
I love
gotta
blowing
get that
kids'
credit.
minds when I talk about when we go to like a college. Like we went to Murfreesboro this year, and they noticed like the hash marks were closer together, and they're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Well, you know, if you watch, they're wider in high schools so they can speed up how fast the football game goes. NFL, you look at NFL, they're like really close together. You don't have to worry about that. You would think." I just told those kids what the theory of relativity was.
I'm about to say
Most
the
of
Big
time,
Bang
like,
Theory
oh
or
my,
something.
what?
Like you have solved the universe. Mysteries
Yeah.
of the universe.
And I told
I
him,
need that
like, yeah,
meme.
there are different links for high school, middle school, sorry, high school, college, and NFL. And they're like,
Middle
really?
school
I was like,
hashes would be on the sideline.
Yeah, there would be the sideline. There would be no hash. It'd be a soccer field.
That's what we would have. Middle school.
So, but hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 19 of On the Back Hash, where we talk about all things pageantry arts.
We're adults now. We graduated high school. We're at episode 19 now.
We can
We're in
buy
college.
cigarettes. And, yeah.
lottery
Don't do
ticket.
that.
No, you can't. You can't anymore. You got to be 21 to buy cigarettes. now.
Oh, that's right.
What?
Good.
Is it?
That's
What,
good.
is that
You know
nationwide?
what?
I know it's statewide.
I know it's statewide.
This is your PSA. If you smoke cigarettes, this is what's going to happen.
This is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain.
I can't see anything. I can't see anything.
Yeah, it's
right now. I
because the
hope it's
screen's
on
small. I had to blow it up just to make sure because I
I
didn't
was
want to be
saying.
embarrassed. You good?
Center frame it. Okay, good. All right.
This is also what happens when you move at attention.
Yeah. Well, this will be, I guess it'll be posted not on Halloween.
No,
But
Oh,
the
next
next
Halloween.
or close to
I even wore
I'm
my
in Halloween festivities.
Kentucky shirt.
Yeah, I'm in
today.
orange.
There you
I'm
go.
in orange.
So, but this is episode 19, and we've done a few different things today. So this week, if you were on our social media, you saw where we were taking question submissions from you.
Mailbag.
So we got a little mailbag, grab bag session for you today.
Mail time.
We might get to.
All right, I have 3-year-olds, so
Yeah.
Blue's Clues is here's a mail that never fails. I won't get copyrighted. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Hold
before
on,
we get
Nickelodeon's
copyright-
calling me right now.
Yeah. See, get an email.
Man in
So,
orange.
so what we're gonna do? We took some of the more intriguing questions. We're gonna do this kind of part in the interruption style. So we're only gonna spend about 5 minutes on each topic. We'll use
Because
that
you know how
5
we like
minutes.
to talk.
Yeah, we could spend 3 hours on one of them. So, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to make sure we get our thoughts to process in. I have a timer, so I wish I had like a wrap it up B
You better write that up.
Thing, but I don't. So I'll just be like, I'll probably say something like 30 seconds. That way we can start, wrapping stuff up. But we're going to let Chris do our topic lead discussions and all that good stuff and lead us through all of this. So, but thank you guys for submitting these questions.
Yes.
There's some of them are thought provoking and some of them are just plain fun. And as you can tell, we like to have fun here. So Chris, man, I'll let you do you, and you after you read the question, I will start the timer. That way we can.
All right.
We're good to go.
All right. I feel like I need to be Steve Harvey on Family Feud. All right. Timer starts when your answer starts. Here we go. All right. So first one, I'm going to throw this to Will first because he's in my rotation. We'll go Will, Zach, Sid, and then we'll wrap up with me, and then we'll stagger from there. Here it is. First question, Will. Should finals change from top 12 to top 15? Go.
Personally, I don't think so as of now. I still don't think we're at the moment where we are. I think there's still a lot of confusion or want to from a lot of people because it's just like there are too many groups that, or you can make the case where the top 5 is getting so crazy that you got to start widening it up and everything. I don't know if we are quite there yet for that to happen.
All right, Zach.
Yeah, I agree. No, actually, I think they should cut it back to 10. Just kidding.
Just,
I mean, hot take there.
top 8 only.
Top
Only 8.
7. No,
7 of y'all can go. Sick of this.
Like you sound like our circuit right now.
We are ready to go.
6.
I like 12. I think there's a lot of parity, especially from the season we saw 10 to 14 is interesting. So I think the push from those cores that have a taste for finals now to stay there, and then the push from the cores who used to have a taste for finals to try and get back to that, I think that sets up that top 12 to still be an important goal. And I think if you expand to 15, it becomes not as prestigious.
Said.
Yeah, that was the point that I was going to kind of make was the prestige part of it. I think the fact that that's the spot you have to reach for, and as much as we would love to have more drum corps at finals, you got a lot of stuff to look at, like logistics, ticket prices, travel time, all of these other things that you got to get figured out and worked out in order to make that all work. And I think making finals as a top 12 says a whole lot. And and honestly, it will drive competition. I think it will drive competition. It'll make people want to
force
work.
Design teams to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because they're going to know, well, we got to be one of the best. We can't slack on that. So as much as the fan in me would love to see it, just so I can see more drum corps, the competitive person in me would say, I think it's fine where it's at.
I hate to say it, but I think we all agree on this. Though I would love to see it. It's almost like March Madness.
I want to see more corps go to semis.
I mean,
that might be the thing. Like,
not wrong.
I mean, you want me to lie? It's the same thing.
I think about like March Madness, how they're trying to expand into, what is it, like 96 now, whatever insane number it is. Like, it waters down the competition. I think 12, like, also in my mind, like, when you look at the ones that were out of the top 12, don't mean to throw any shade, but like, if I watch Blue Knights, is that a core that I think that show was at a finals show? And I don't think so in my head. That was a final show. Crossman might have had an argument that was a final show. Like, that's a show that was there. But, like, I think that 12 is a good cutoff because it does give you something to make it to go towards. Now, I can see later on in the future if we start having like all 12 cars start popping 90 or something like that, yeah, we might need to, take the bottom down a little bit. But no, right now, I think we're good on that front. So, we're done. What was our time on that one?
We have 40 seconds left.
Let's go. All right. Next question. We're going to say on this year, Zach, I want to start with you. Which newcomer from 2022 finals will maintain their spot next season? So making a prediction here. Go.
I'm going to go with Troopers.
Okay. Any reason why?
I just think from 2 years ago, the celebration show, to last year, to the show announcement for next year that's already out, they're staying with that edge, it seems like. And I think edgy troopers are good troopers.
All right. Said.
Man, that's tough. Because I don't know, because I always feel like troopers are around that spot anyway. Like they're always in the discussion, and it just so happen they're always just right outside of it. But that coach design, very reminiscent of Blue Stars.
Yes.
Very reminiscent of that. And I think they play consistently well enough. I think there's enough refinement in their design and in their programming and in their playing that if they could, continue to push the boundaries from a design standpoint, from a technical standpoint, making the show a little bit more difficult, demand standpoint, I should say, I think they could end up like Mandarins and kind of dig their way into like this consistent thing. So I'm going to say them. Not that I don't think Troopers can't do it either, but if I just had to pick one based off of last year's show design and its execution, I'd have to go with the Colts.
I will agree with said here. I think Colts will be the one that can maintain it, kind of for the same similar reasons. I like Troopers, but I feel like that year, this past year, they literally struck gold. But I feel like they had the package this year and they really got them to where they needed to be. And Zach's out. Listen, man, dad jokes happen, bro.
I'm not doing it.
Dad
Where
jokes
was
happen.
the doo-doo?
Oh, that was perfect. I
That was
missed it.
perfect.
I missed the opportunity.
Anyway, but really, I feel like I do think Colts. Yes, I think Colts are the core that will maintain it. I think they're in the Mandarins kind of seat that they had something. They had some really good. They had some good design, and they've always been a core that I feel like always have the sound. They just needed the design component to the stuff. And I feel like they're getting that now. I mean, Troopers have a good case too, but I mean, Crossmen are always there. That's the thing. Crossmen is one of those groups that, I mean, they're going to be pissed off for greatness coming into next year. So if one's going to give, I give Colts. So, Will, what do you think?
Here's the thing. I have a little bit of support, or not a little bit, but my mind is kind of going the same direction as the Colts, or whatever. But I want to throw a little bit of support to the Troopers and hope that they have found some kind of energy and determination for this feat that they've had. Because it's like everybody says, it's like, I mean, you can't count them out because this is just, this is a special year. Let me just say that. I was going to say like a fluke year, but I don't want to say that. I want to say this is a special year because, Crossman got put out, Blue Knights got put out. A lot of groups that have seen finals before got put out. Madison put out. Who else?
Academy.
Like a lot of groups that have seen finals multiple times have gotten put out, and then they got in there. And sometimes that can change the drive of your staff and your design and that want to say, let's not be a one-time fluke that we just made it and now, So
Yeah.
I'm going to give a little love to the Troopers for that. But my head is definitely saying Colts because, God, that was it this year. I was thoroughly impressed with what the Colts did. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I'm gonna give a little love. I'm gonna be like Zach, give a little love to the Troopers, and
I'll say both of them. I think could make it.
Really, they got the potential to do it. I just hope they can keep with some kind of drive, energy, and some kind of creative design, and come back even stronger. Because the groups that normally make it that didn't, they're not gonna be happy. folks gonna
exactly.
Come back they're gonna come back with that heat. So,
all right,
what they
that's
got.
what time.
All right. So, this would be a good one. All right. Said, we're going to go this for each. This is for everyone. What is your way too early top 5 for next year? How do you think it's going to shake down? Way too early top 5.
Way too early top 5. 5 Cavies.
That's a bold claim. All right.
It is a bold claim. 5 Cavies. 4 Boston. 3 Crown. Actually, no, check that. 3 Blue Coats. 2 Crown. 1 BD. I think Blue Coats are going to go back to kind of an experimental show again, and they're going to fall a little bit. And I think Crown's going to figure some stuff out. So that leaves the SCV out of the top 5. But that's just kind of how I see it right now.
All right. Here's mine. I'll make some bold early predictions. Here we go. 5 Cadets. All right. Top 5 Cadets. 4 Vanguard. 3 BD. 2 hold on. 2 Blue Coats. 1 Crown. I live in Boston. I'm my top 5. I think Boston, and this is I'm what I'm thinking.
Maybe I'm not getting canceled this time.
We might be.
So excited.
Because the next couple of questions that are coming up, you're going to realize I am a Boston fan. All right, I just want to say this, but I feel like I have a feeling they're losing a whole lot going into next year, and I don't know what it's going to take for them. I don't know, and I feel like Cadets have good momentum. Vanguard is always Vanguard, and then the other 3 are always there. And I feel like Crown, for some reason, I feel like it's their time. I feel like they're going to have something come out or whatever. But that is my early bold predictions there. They're way too early predictions. Will, you're 5.
5. I can feel you with Boston. I'm a little bit like said. I have actually thought about it, and I got Cavies in 5th. I got SCV 4th, and my 4th. Blue Coast 3rd, and the ones I kind of went up and down with was Crown and BD, and I think it's going to fall Crown 2nd, BD 1st, and it's going to piss everybody out. But see,
I feel like
all this stuff that's coming to Cavies, man, and I know a lot of these people. Somebody gonna shake the ground over there, and like you said, like I'm same. I was in my same head too. I was like, man, Boston really is losing a lot, and it's gonna be some changes. Yeah, the same thing, but
Cavies are the sexy pick right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of here for it, but So I don't know. I hate being like, here come BD with the magically here they. You know?
They're just consistent.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It's the best consistent gold standard of DCI, and you heard me say it.
All right, Zach.
Got a minute.
1 minute.
5 Boston, 4 Cavies, 3 Crown, 2 Bluecoats, 1 BD.
Gotcha.
Big.
Any? You got some time? Any reasons? Quick.
I mean, everything, the thought process has already been said. I toyed with maybe throwing Vanguard or Cadets in 5th instead of Boston. I agree with everything else that's been said. Cavies are a sexy pick. Boston, I think they shot their shot and it didn't make. And they got some things to figure out, possibly, but who knows?
They had 3-4 really good years.
I would love a Crown victory.
Me too.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while, yeah.
Well, this would be great to go on for our next question here.
All right, well, that's good because we're out of time.
Here we go. I'll start out with this one because it's really funny. I think it's my turn anyway. Since we just literally just crapped on Boston for like 5 minutes. What do you think it will take for Boston to get the gold next year? I will start this. A lot.
All right, so next question.
Say,
Jesus.
I just feel like
Jesus.
I think Sid literally just said a great thing at the very end. They had some really good years. Where do they go? I mean, the number one thing I think is that the brass book has to get to the level that the perk book was, or they're going to have to find a happy medium between those two with that. And if they keep their guard where they need to be, they might have a shot. But, man, I don't know, man. I want to see him do it, but I don't know if it can happen. I don't know. We'll see. Will, what do you think?
I think their guard is going to turn into SCV's percussion, and people are going to get sick, and somebody's going to top it. It's because it's one of those things where they're too phenomenal, and at some point somebody's going to figure it out too, and that's going to happen. But it's basically the same thing as you said. They got to find some kind of collective balance between the perk and the horn line, and they have got to understand that. And they also have to find a balance within the perk by itself, not just with the horn line. Because when they do find a balance between the perk by itself, then they can get it with the horn line, and then there has to be a package deal that is going to just set them apart, kind of. And then they got to be consistent with it. So, like we talked about BD being consistent, that's the line that they got to figure out.
All right, Zach, what do you think?
Yes, to all the stuff that's already been said. Will Boston get a gold? That was not a yes to that. I don't think right now.
I gotcha.
I think they need to take some of the notes from the battery and put it in the front and find a happy medium within that. Find a happy medium within the brass and the percussion. But I also think some show design things are left out on the table. Like, you know, you think back to this past year, the Lacrimosa
Still waiting
section,
for that new ending.
Yeah, it left a lot to be desired on that. You know, when they did SOS, it was just a happy ending, you know, where they disappeared. It was good. I feel like in this streak that they've had with their successful shows, there's just always one thing that it's like, man, I wish they would have done this instead. Like the Goliath show, the Hamilton part, it was a cool thought, but I didn't think it fit.
Yeah.
It seemed like they forced it in there because it's like, oh, Hamilton. Let's put that in there. And I understood why, because, you know, David's not going to throw away his shot with his slingshot, but, yeah. I don't know. A couple design things need to be figured out, too.
Said.
So, with those shows, I think the thing that was lacking was demand. They were very accessible, very well thought out, very well planned, It just didn't have the demand that the other shows had. I want to pose this question. If Zoom was done this year, would they have won?
Could they have done it this year?
I don't see why they couldn't have.
See, I think that too. I wonder, like, that's a good
Because
question.
after seeing Zoom last year, I was like, oh my God, they finna come out here and just, this is
better.
it.
It was better balanced.
I was like, this is
It
it.
was way better balanced, and the drum line spoke just enough. Because me and you talked about that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like okay, they playing, but it was like the shock that Crown gave me a couple years back with Inferno. It's like okay, they playing, like they finally figured out what they missed last time, and that Boston show was it. So I will agree with you. Yeah,
I think if that Zoom show had happened this year, they might have would have won.
we would have had a whole nother conversation because nobody else was on that tip.
With BD not being BD being typical BD, but not like overwhelming champion of everything. That Zoom show had everything that you want out of a show, and just timing. I feel like that's the route they need to go. That's their niche. With my 2 seconds left.
All right, good. All right, so let's go with this one. I'm excited about this one. All right, starting with Will. Biggest DCI pet peeve. We're about to sound something like some old
Percussion is not
right
drum
now.
line.
We're gonna sound like old guys right now. I can't wait.
That
I already knew.
Yeah.
that
We know each other too well. We know.
kind of took it.
We sat in that hotel room
Sorry.
and listened to Will at finals, right before finals, go off on some people about that same thing. So,
Yeah,
anything to add to that? Why that's your
it's
pet
just
peeve? I mean, we know why, but like,
it's the thing that that I've always tried to stress with younger generation and younger kids who get in and see and say, and people don't seem to understand. Nobody, not one of us or all four of us or probably anybody that they've ever talked to said Boston's show or Boston's percussion sucked. Nobody ever said that. It was always about the balance, and the problem is some kids will say, well, I get that the front's got to do this and blah, 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 blah. I was like, here's the thing. You're saying you get it, but you continue to say the same things that is annoying and is untrue. So there's a huge difference between having a passion for liking a drumline or a percussion and then understanding why this is happening to them. When people are trying to explain to you, this is why they will not win. This is why this is going on. This is why they're not getting this credit or that credit or blah, blah, blah. It's like, understand those. Still let it be your favorite, because I ain't going to lie to you. Their battery was my favorite battery. But I can go back and forth between telling you that SEV and Cavaliers had my favorite front ensemble. So it's a balance. It's like nobody's taking away from you liking that. Just you got to know the difference. You gotta have an understanding.
Zach, we might have to stop Will now. Zach, go ahead. Will will be on here for 6 hours.
30 seconds.
Gosh. When they ask it, oh, do we really only have 30? Oh.
No,
we're like 250.
You're good. You're good.
When they ask if the chore's ready and someone in the crowd yells, they're always ready.
That's a good one.
First
That's a
of
good
all,
I think that's just a marching band thing, not even a
Yes.
DCI
Like a
thing.
standard
I have
for all marching arts.
I have another one. It's more. It happens less in drum corps, but more in like marching band. But when there's a percussion feature, tell the mamas to shut up. Like, I want to hear the battery play. I don't want to hear y'all screaming and yelling, "Go drumline!" Like, let me hear them. And just because you have lights doesn't mean your show's good. Moving
She's trying
on.
to-
That part.
She's trying to scream over
Jeez.
the dirt.
Right.
Right, that's exactly what that is.
Go ahead.
All right, Sed, what do you think?
Here's what my pet peeve right now, I guess, with DCI is. Talking to you. I'm looking at the camera.
I don't
know who any
core is anymore.
old heads, stop saying that drum corps ain't drum corps anymore. Unless you want the activity to die,
Preach.
let it evolve.
Where's the mic drop
It's
sound?
gotta evolve.
Let
Yeah,
it
can you
evolve.
mic drop that?
It's not working. I don't know why.
Oh,
It's not
dang.
working, but it's got to evolve or it's going to die.
Like everything in life.
Just
Literally.
so, if you want it to survive, then things are going to have to change a little bit. And these kids, we always want to complain, well, these young generation don't know how to work. Well, look at all these 17 to 22-year-olds who are working their asses off all summer to give you a product that you don't appreciate. So my pet peeve is with the disgruntled old heads who think drum corps is bad now.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Here's mine. Okay.
You have 50
I
seconds.
know. Okay, I know people want to rep their cores. I'm all about that.
Oh, I know where this is
Stop
going.
wearing your core jacket in the summertime.
Yeah.
My gosh.
It is 95 degrees.
Ain't no way you're sweating out 80 pounds just to show that you marked the core. I'm glad you do. I'm so excited. If you want to wear it inside in Lucas Oil, please, more than happy, wear it in there. But if we're sitting there in drumline battle and you have a black core jacket on, and I can see the beads of sweat dropping down your face, and you're just trying to I got it, man. Throw it over your shoulder like, Grease style. Like, throw it over your shoulder like you can see it. Like, please. I am scared. I feel like I need to go get you some water. Like, stop making me feel like a dad for a moment that you're going to die of dehydration because you have to wear a core jacket.
And
I'm done.
I wish I would wear
That
my
might be
jacket
the
in
best 5-minute segment of this entire series of.
All right. So, Zach, we're going to start.
Thank you to whoever put in that question in the mailbag.
yes.
Amazing. So, do you think that this is for Zach? Starting with Zach. Do you think the caliber of shows we saw this year will be sustainable going into next year? So, what we saw happen with, was it top 10 or 9 or whatever it was, got 90 or above, whatever? I think it was 10. Was it 10?
10, yeah.
10,
Yeah, top
So,
10.
do you think that we're going to see that kind of level? Is that going to be sustainable for next year? Go.
I feel like the caliber of the shows are going to be just as good. I don't know as if that will have that many score in the 90s again. I think that might not ever happen again for at least a few years, just because I don't know, but I think I don't know. Maybe some groups are going to try some things new and it's not going to pay off, but that's part of the game we play. But I don't think we're going to have 10 cores in the 90s next year. I think the shows will be just as good top to bottom. I think the groups are going to be just as good and pushing the envelope, but I don't think the scores will be as high.
Sid.
Caliber of the show, yes. However, will we appreciate it or will we enjoy it as much as we did this year? I don't think so. It's when you have such a high quality year, the next year typically seems like it's a little bit of a letdown because we have certain expectations for these cores and what they're going to do and all of that good stuff. So why the execution level could be the high, the design level could be just the same, just as high. We might not appreciate it more because it's not what we think the next level should be. I'm feeling that right now. Just kind of looking at a bunch of our state shows. I'm just like, everybody kind of doing the same thing. So I think from my standpoint, I think the caliber will still be there. I think you'll still see excellent drum corps. We just may not appreciate it for what it is, just because of the year that we had this year.
I think.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
It's not my turn anymore. Sorry.
Okay.
I already have my
I'm
turn.
going to say yes and no at the same time. I think yes, it will be a good caliber show, but no in the way of kind of what Zach was saying. I feel like there's going to be a lot of groups, or quite a few groups this year that are going to really reach for something, and it's not going to happen the way they think it's going to happen. The one core I am worried about this, even though some of us had them as our sexy pick, is Cabbies. Like, I really hope that they're going to take a step. I think it's going to be a good thing. I hope that they don't try to overreach and bite off more than they can chew, and then they fall back because of that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about. But I do think we're going to have good caliber shows next year. But, like another thing I said was saying the expectations, we're going into saying, oh, we always had a great season. What's next? And then we're all expecting all this stuff, and then blah. Yes. Amen to Zach, to that. All right, Will, go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty much a unanimous thing. And just like you said, like, because we got a lot of faith in Cabbage and stuff, you're going to get your pocket groups that will come out because, in a sense, it's kind of their time, or we'll just leave it at that. It's their time. But it's going to be very, very difficult to get 10 groups in 90s again. So I think people are going to execute the best that they can. It's going to be very good. But I'm seeing some possible harder judging. And, yeah, I think you'll get a selective few that are going to come out, and there's going to be a few wow factors. But, yeah, I don't see it not being not like it was this year.
I agree. I think we had a perfect storm. I think that's what would be the best thing.
Well, DTI being gone.
I was just about to say that.
And so the hype of everybody just being back. And then I think everybody planned a really good show this year just to come back with.
A lot of people had 2 years to plan a show. So you can think about that too. All right. Last question right here. Laying off on a good one. I think we'll all enjoy this one. I'm going to start with with this one.
God.
What is your guilty pleasure DCI show? So what show that you feel like a lot of times a lot of people are just like, oh, really? That show? But like in your mind, you're like, I love watching that show.
I'm going to name probably a couple.
I have two as well. But
So Blue Coat season show.
It's the season. That was an inside joke. Sorry.
I believe that was 1998. Madisonic, which was all about the Doppler effect. I really liked that show.
We need to find that one and see if we can get it.
And then another one that I really enjoyed was Boston Crusaders Red Show. This very, very cool drill.
What year was that?
I don't know, but that's when I really started liking Boston. And there's a lot of them. There's another Sonic there, man. Another Madison show. Well, I was just a Madison fan, but Crossman, back when they were doing jazz, they did them as this. A lot of little shows that people don't talk a whole lot about, but have influenced me in the way that I think about stuff. So,
all right, I have two as well. I want it because I make fun of it all the time, but like I low key like this show is Boston's Animal Farm. That show is the biggest.
It's not Animal Farm.
It's not. It's Animal Farm, but it's not Animal Farm. But it is Animal Farm, but it's not.
What was the actual name of the show?
Animal Farm.
Wasn't it called
Was it
Animal
really?
Farm?
No,
I don't know.
think so.
I can't remember. What was the name of that show?
I don't know.
I can't remember. All I remember is it was like the biggest FU to DCI when they made that G7 logo on the field. Oh my god, boy!
Yeah.
I was like, get it! I was so excited for that. I'm gonna wait for. Can we pause the timer for a second because I want to know what this is.
This is called Animal Farm.
It was called Animal Farm.
It was actually Animal Farm?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. If no one knows the joke, I got to tell this joke real quick because I always say this all the time. The opening night, the designer was like, "We're doing Animal Farm, but it's not Animal Farm." And then he goes, "But we have 3 windmills on the." If you ever read the book, we have 3 windmills on the field, but it's not Animal Farm. But it is kind of like Animal Farm. Like it just kept going. Like it just felt like that's all they said the whole year. But that's a good one. My other one is Vanguard Les Mis. Oh my gosh, dude, that show. That horn rip at the very beginning, I can I could like just flip my car over every time I hear it on the car because it's so freaking good, dude. I'm telling you, man, it's so good, and it's a show
funny.
that I don't think a lot of people talk about, but it's one of my favorite shows, that modern shows that they've done. And it's like that was like when they were like still like the drill was like it was like half step spacing and like all that kind of stuff. So that was what I liked. So those are my two. Will.
I only got two. They're pretty recent. One is Carolina Crown's Out of This World. I think a lot of people really hated on that show because they, not a lot of people. It wasn't a lot of people's cup of tea for the percussion section with all the timbre sounds and everything. But for me personally, I'm just a stickler for anything and all things space. So I was hooked from the jump. So I really dug that show, man.
Ground control to me.
I mean, yeah, it was so cool. And this is kind of weird, but SEV 2014 Scheherazade.
Oh, that's a good one.
The second one.
Guilty pleasure.
It
Good
is.
show.
But a lot of people didn't like it. I heard.
People are dumb.
Exactly, and that's what I said. Because people they were mad that they did it because they said the first one was so good. I was like, y'all, the second one was just as good.
They also had to do that show because what they were supposed to do fell through, right?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm pretty sure that wasn't the original idea that year.
Yeah, that was one of the original ideas. So they just share us out again. Yeah.
But they still came with it.
That's one of the best endings ever. At the end of that show.
Now, I love the first one.
Sorry.
But I still like the second one.
Second one's a good one.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
All right, Zach.
My first one is Cadets 2012, the 12.25 show. To this day, that is the only Christmas music I will listen to. And
I ain't gonna be mad. They did.
I will die on that hill.
I guess I don't consider that a good. I know a lot of people didn't like it. That was one of those you either loved it or you hated it. I loved it. I want a concert band piece around that.
I ain't gonna lie. Care what nobody
the
said.
company front.
I have that show.
When she opens up her big angel wings for the company front, just chills every time. It could be the heat of July, and I can hear that clip. And
people in their core jackets.
Yes. And then my second one is Blue Nights. I think it's 2014. That 1 second is what it's called.
Oh, that's a good one.
That show, that was my first trip to finals. And that show took me on a journey that was peak Blue Nights. That's 3 or 4 years in a row right then. That was it. For me at least.
Was that Always an I? Those three.
Oh yeah, I was.
Well, the one before the pandemic, I Remember Everything. That one was good too.
Mm-hmm.
No beginning, no end.
That
they've had some years.
Well, that's it.
All right.
That's all the mailbag for today.
Well, man, we're definitely gonna great questions sent in by you guys, and we're gonna definitely try to do that again later on. They don't have to be necessarily centered around DCI. I know we talked about a lot about that stuff. It can just be marching band in general, or band in general. Or sports. Heck, we can talk sports. We can do whatever.
Bailey Zappi.
There we go. Go Tops. So, if you like what you saw, if you had any more additional questions in the comments below, you can ask those or just let us know what you think. You can find us on all social media aspects: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find our podcast if you listen to our podcast on Anchor.fm and Spotify, as well as YouTube. So make sure you click the comment button, share, the notification button, the subscribe button, all the buttons. Just click
all
them.
of them.
Just be touching
everyone.
Yes, just to tap.
Blow up your computer because of that.
Control, Alt, Delete.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Shut down the computer.
Alt F4. That's what we're about to do.
So, yeah. So,
Control, Shift, QQ.
today's been fun. Like I said, episode 19, the Grab Bag episode has been great. Like I said, for Zach and William and Chris, my name is Cedric. This has been episode 19. Make sure you guys go out and support your local bands and do all the good stuff.
But don't yell during the drum feature.
Yeah, don't yell during the drum feature. Zach will come get you.
Yes.
So, from all of us to all of you, take care, and we are dud
Out.
Daily Zappy.